Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr versus Benn. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
This is Kugan Cassius for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Chris Eubank Jr, who faces Conor Benn this Saturday night, April 26th at Tottenham, live on DAZN. Click the link to sign up. Chris, how are you, first of all?
Wonderful.
What was your summary of that press conference today?
It's hard to really outdo the first two. So I wasn't trying to do that. There's no need to do that. The talking's been done. The statements have been made. It's all irrelevant now, the talk, actually. It's just about what's going to happen in a couple of days' time.
Just a couple of things from the press conference then. What did you make of the seat swap around with Mr. Hearn and Mr. Frank Smith?
Just time wasting, completely irrelevant. Eddie was never going to be able to talk at the press conference, so he thought it would be smart and funny to bring in Frank Smith, who nobody knows outside of the boxing community, to try and get a few words in, like that was ever going to happen. Just a waste of time.
You brought the bet up again and even offered to cover Eddie's if there was $100,000 fine, a 1.1 to 900 ratio. But that looks unlikely to happen, doesn't it, Chris?
The weaseled his way out of the bet again, even when I made it sweeter for him. He can't just come out and say it. I don't want to bet. I'm scared. I'm afraid that you're going to win and I'm going to lose £900,000. That's the reason he doesn't want to bet, not because of any fine or any backlash from the board. If he cared about backlash from the board, he wouldn't have done what he did in the first fight, trying to hide 2 drugs tests and trying to push a fight through after his fighter got caught.
What did you make of that press conference of Nigel Benn's part in that press conference explaining the sparring with William Skull?
That was a great story. I was enthralled. I was really excited to hear that.
So you didn't really take anything from that apart from just the story there?
Come on, it's a sparring story against a guy who is who I don't know. I've never seen him fight.
I know you said it was irrelevant when it was brought up to you that the Ring magazine are reporting that Billy Joe Saunders will be coming to observe your hands being wrapped. Do you not have any other thought on that, Chris?
It doesn't matter who's watching. They stand in a little corner, they watch the hands get wrapped, and then they leave. It doesn't matter if it's Billy Joe Saunders or Donald Trump. It makes no difference. My hands are going to get wrapped, and they're going to leave the changing room. It's irrelevant.
When you do think about this fight, Chris, how does it play out in your mind? How does it play out on Saturday here at Tottenham?
You will have to tune in. Sky Sports pay-per-view, DAZN pay-per-view. They have the answers to the question you just gave.
Chris, I do need to ask you, obviously, last week I did speak to your dad, and your dad gave some comment to a lot of the media. What is your reaction to some of the stuff that your dad was saying last week, which has gone viral now?
It's a shame. It's a shame that whatever issues he's dealing with at this moment in time have caused him to say the things that he's saying. Family issues are bad enough as they are. We all go through them. It's a part of life. But to be going through it in public, it makes it a lot harder to deal with. But again, I've got to stay focused. What my dad is saying about me is not going to change what happens on Saturday night. The fight will happen and I will win.
A question I was going to ask you, he said in a podcast with Carl Froch that he's adamant, as sure as he can, that he can't rock the earth, that this fight won't happen. Why was he saying that?
You'd have to ask him. There are many reasons why people say the things they're saying when they are, dealing with emotions and demons in their heads. He's fighting whatever issues he's fighting with, and they're causing him to say things like that. He said it before the last fight, and he was right then. So you can't completely dismiss it. But in my experience, lightning doesn't strike twice. So we can be pretty certain that the bell's going to go on Saturday night.
Chris, just the last one on it. When I did ask him whether he'd spoken to you, his exact words to me was, "My son won't listen to me." Is he just talking about you taking this fight? Is he talking about anything else?
No, that's it. Yeah. Don't take the fight. You shouldn't be fighting. You shouldn't be doing this rehydration clause in the weight cut. It's dangerous. You shouldn't be hitting him across the across the face with an egg. Is his new reason for him not accepting this fight. Again, these are all things that I can't let affect me. I can't pay attention to these things because the fight is going to happen, and if I pay too much attention to it, then it's going to affect me negatively. Right. Father or no father, I'm going to get in the ring and somebody's going to try and hurt me. I've got to be in the best shape mentally to avoid that. So that means I have to block out all the noise, all the negative narratives that have been going on. We've got to just focus on getting the job done.
Just quickly, you split £50,000, as you said you would, amongst the fighters that were meant to feature on your original fight. We saw a lot of fighters posting kind of receipts or whatever you want to say. So how did you actually do that? Were you contacting fighters yourself? Because you said some people didn't want to give bank details.
Yeah, I guess some people thought that I was going to scam them or, hack their accounts. But yeah, we contacted the fighters. The ones that trusted me gave their account numbers and their details, and we sat there and sent each one, a payment, one after the other. And, this is what Eddie Hearn should have done 2.5 years ago. Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, these guys are making money week in, week out through boxing. Fighters, they're fighting once, twice, 3 times a year, maybe. So paying for an entire training camp and then the fight falls through, these promoters should be compensating fighters, because they don't have money like that to spend on camps and then receive nothing back. Eddie Hearn talking about, we got my fighters out soon after. Well, your fighters weren't the only guys on the card, and also, having you saying you get fighters out, they were out 2 or 3 months later. That means they've got to pay for a whole another camp. So that still doesn't excuse the fact that you didn't compensate them for the camp that you were the reason fell through. Eddie Hearn trying to cover up Conor Benn's 2 failed drugs tests for the entire 2-3 months, and then getting caught up in 2 days before the fight. That was their fault. That wasn't the fighter's fault. That wasn't my fault. So he should have compensated them. He didn't, so I did.
Very last one, because we do have to wrap this up. You truly believe the middle of that pitch, Saturday night, you will knock Conor Benn out?
It will not go 12 rounds. I will stop this boy. I will knock him out. I will do everything in my power to make sure that he does not see that 12th round.
Chris Eubank Jr, much appreciate your time, as always. Best of luck on Saturday night. Have you got anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Thank you very much.